Hi guys, we're live here at Leinster House. We have government ministers outside holding the banners. We're here to get CoCo's law passed into law to stop cyberbullying. I think at this stage enough of our kids are gone and this law needs to be passed. We have people on speaking. Jackie will be on in a while speaking and they'll be handing over the petition. So I'm going to just keep it live now for the whole duration of the Jackie doing an interview, is he? We'll just wait a couple of seconds just for Jackie.
Is there an extra petition? Yeah.
Sorry guys, just take a second, just do an interview up there, okay?
Past second stage, you look at the law petition. The law to prevent cyberbullying and to attack the untold harm that's been done has passed second stage. It's been a very slow process through the door, but all parties now have agreed that it is our firm objective, and the chair of the Justice Committee is alongside of me, to have this done, to have it before the President for signature by the end of this year. and the untold harm being done to young people and not so young people by online bullying, by pestering and driving people to the brink of suicide and beyond should end. We haven't updated the law in this area for more than 30 years. Sometimes Dáil Éireann keeps up with events, sometimes it does not. But in the area of technology and the untold harm being done to thousands of people in their own homes, in their own bedrooms, is unimaginable. We have to put a stop to it. And all of us across all political parties are determined that that will happen as quickly as we can get it enacted.
Brendan, have you talked to the other political parties? Perhaps James is Fianna Fáil behind this, and have you talked to Fine Gael as well?
This is passed, as you know, at second stage.
Yep.
So it will be reintroduced tomorrow as a committee stage bill. It will go directly into James's committee, and the Dáil has already agreed that it will get priority. I've met with the new Minister for Justice, Helen McEntee, in fact in her first week as Minister for Justice, to ask that this be given priority, and she's agreed. There are a few amendments that the government want to bring to it, but all parties across government and opposition are determined that this will be made law.
So I come in maybe at this point. So as Chair of the Justice Committee, I was appointed last week. The first thing I did was sit down with the clerk and assess the work programme for the year and actually term ahead. And this bill is front and centre. I'm determined to get this bill before the committee as soon as we practically possible. Working with Brendan as proposer of the bill, working with Minister James Brown and Minister Helen McEntee, who are both completely on board. And I think there's actually political consensus. I don't think there's any party that quibbles. There may be technical amendments to approve the bill to just to kind of, I suppose, iron out any legislative kinks at committee stage. But this is so important. And as someone who fought for social media regulation the last Dáil as well, myself, there's such a lacuna there, there's such a gap that our technology, our regulation has not kept pace. As Brendan says, it's 30 years since we had meaningful communications legislation and regulation in this country. Social media grows so fast, we need to do this immediately. We need to get this on the books before Christmas. I think it's going that direction. There's a good consensus here. Your group and your committee and your petition are so helpful, because it helps people like me and Brendan and James Brown to go into that chamber and say this is so serious. There's lives at stake, there's lives already lost. We cannot have that happen any more times, any more difficulty, any more trauma, any more tragedy.
So basically, do you believe CoCo's law is going to be made law perhaps by the end of this year or the end of the Dáil term?
I would be very hopeful that by the end of this year we have a very good, realistic chance of doing that. Yeah.
And in honour of CoCo, in honour of Jackie Cox's incredible campaign and all those who were involved, she was asking from the beginning whether we could actually include CoCo's law in the long title of the bill, and I'm going to work to see if we can achieve that.
I think we absolutely try to do that. I don't see any reason why we couldn't do that.
Why is it important for the families to be here today?
I mean, the people who have suffered the pain, often in silence, have to express that pain to us all so that we understand it. It is beyond belief that it's taken so long. I published this bill in 2017. It's 3 years getting through the difficulties of Leinster House, and that's just not good enough. We can act with speed on some issues, and in many ways, if people were being beaten up on the street, there would be a public outcry and we would ask people to act against that. My view is that the social media platforms that are provided are public spaces, and people should be safe in public spaces, whether it's on our streets, in our public parks, or on platforms provided by Google or others. And this law will make them safe. It does a number of things that's important. It sets out what communication is. Believe it or not, a definition of communication has been updated since the 1950s in the Post Office Act, Amendment Act of the early 50s. So the idea of online communication was just simply unknown. This will put a modern definition and outlaw such things as recklessly endangering, telling lies and spreading lies, doing deliberate harm to people will be a criminal offence. On indictment, if it's a very serious matter, in the circuit court, carrying a penalty of up to 7 years in jail. And there's also an important section 14 of this bill that will provide the ability to people to go behind anonymity, so that people can't hide behind anonymous accounts doing terrible harm. They will be broken open and those evil perpetrators will be found.
And Jackie,
as well.
Jackie, just in memory of CoCo today, is today a proud day for you? Is it a good day?
Today is
I'm not going to lie, it's a very, very bittersweet day for me. Obviously, Brendan knows I want this law in so much to protect other people that are going through what I'm going through and what other people are going through at the moment. It's a great proud to have it called after and called for CoCo's Law. I'm so proud of that. But when this is all done, I still have to go home and never get a hug off Nicole or never see her smile again or tell her I love her again. So it's a bittersweet moment for me, but the law badly needs to be passed, and I'm so proud to be able to help future people, you know, that are going through this, that are still going through this now. And as I said, named after CoCo, which Brendan was, you know, and he did, and he's been fantastic. And the first day I met him, he's just brilliant, and said I could call him CoCo's Law. But yeah, it's so hard that I can't share this with Nicole. Like that
She's watching.
she is 100%. She is, but it's bittersweet. But you know, it is a proud moment as well.
And all the other, remember, there are an awful lot of other Nicoles as well. I know when we debated this at second stage, Jan O'Sullivan gave personal testimony of a constituent of her own, again, like CoCo, suffered incredible abuse online. And unfortunately, there are thousands of cases like that. We have to stop it. Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, James.
Yeah, can we get the three mothers now for a second? I'll just keep that because it's live there on the page. So.
Can you turn around towards us so you're facing this way? Is there other mothers as well?
Yeah. Just 1 second, guys. Just 1 second. Can you go in as well? And Aisling, yeah.
Yes, that's good.
Please. So this is the three mothers here.
Yeah, you get the three mothers on one side and then on the other, as if you're passing it over to him.
No, wait, I actually have the petition there. That won't be done till after the speeches.
Okay, that's fair enough, no problem. I thought that was the petition there. So just look on this way, guys. Do you know the banners that you had earlier? Is there any chance you can lift that banner up and just have it as a backstop? And there's another large, that one as well.
I need someone to do this live.
Hold it up high if you can.
Linda.
And if you stand behind.
I need to look after that for the live video, so like go around the live videos and stuff. Yeah.
Stand behind, like that there.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Have it at the back and up. Exactly, yes. I just have that behind you there, and if you guys go in again, in the centre, see the space, still right there. Oh, that one, yeah, if someone can help that lady.
Can someone help this lady here behind? Someone else grab the banner behind.
Fill up the space. That's much better, guys. Thank you.
This one here, can you actually face it this way? Towards us? Yeah, lift it up so it can be actually red.
That's great. Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
Jackie, can we have you to hold? Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. Excellent.
Thanks a million, guys. Thank you.
Around in the middle of a semicircle as well.
We need photos as well, Don. I've no phone for photos. I'll do this.
Just take one step out. Yeah, that's it. I'm looking towards us.
Thank you for the social distancing, folks.
Yeah. We're just going to move back.
There's plenty of masks there if anyone wants masks on top of the podium. Yeah.
Straight in here, please. Thank you. Just in here, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Right, guys, we're going to start with the speeches and stuff. Yeah. What is it, one which? We need to get started. The whole thing is going to be spoken about here. The people that just wait around. It will be all spoken about. The whole thing will.
Sorry,
We won't wait. 1 2 1 2. Hello guys, thank you very much for being here today. Guys, first can I start by saying will you all make sure you're in social distance, and sorry, just give me 1 second, I can't see without my glasses. Will you all make sure and social distance, and anyone that hasn't got a face mask, just here on the trolley beside us there's a box of face masks, feel free to take one, okay? We start off firstly by just having a minute's silence for all that has gone before us. We'll start that now, thank you. Thank you very much. Can I just check before we start, have we got Owen O'Brien, have we got James Lawless, and have we got Brendan Howland here? Okay, we have no Sinn Féin representative, have we not? Okay, maybe we're a bit early. A bit early. Okay, we'll go ahead anyway. Good morning guys, thank you all for joining us here today. We are the March for Justice Ireland human rights organisation. We have worked closely with Jackie Fox, whose daughter Nicole CoCo Fox died by suicide on the 20th of January 2018. Nicole was a victim to cyberbullying, which is not a crime here in Ireland. Jackie has campaigned relentlessly since Nicole's death to have the law updated, making cyberbullying a crime. We have travelled all over the country to highlight Jackie's the awareness and the impact of bullying has on Jackie and other mothers. March for Justice Ireland started an online petition so we could take a petition to the government. Thanks to the people online that signed it, 33,460 people signed this petition. So we'd like to say thank you to every one of them, because without you guys this wouldn't even be possible here today. We won't hold anyone up, and we'd like to call Jackie Fox up to the stand first of all. Thank you very much.
Near me? Yeah. Yeah.
Put your hands together there for Jackie Fox, guys.
Hi, I'm just going to start off telling you about my daughter Nicole, who died by suicide aged 21. Nicole was, when she was younger, she was the most bubbliest, friendliest, liveliest daughter you could ever have. She always made me so proud to be her mum. She was also cheeky and, you know, just the typical child growing up. She had lots of friends. We had a mobile home down in Wexford where we spent most of our time, you know, all through the summer and bank holidays, and you know, we went crab fishing. She learned how to jump off the pier without our armbands. We spent all the time on the beach, you know, we just did typical everything, and she had lots of friends down there. Nicole's nightmare started when she turned 17. She started to experience going out. When she went out, everything was fine for a few weeks until she befriended. She thought these two girls were her friends. When Nicole didn't want to be with these two girls, it turned into jealousy. They start being really nasty to her and horrible. They used to put cigarette butts out onto her skin in the nightclub. They pulled her down the flight of the stairs by the hair. They also, when Nicole came out of the bathroom, they pushed her so hard into a corner of the table where she dislocated her hip. They used to pretend to dance on the dance floor, and anywhere Nicole went on the dance floor, they would follow her. And they used to pretend to dance and give her an elbow in the chest, or an elbow in the face. And Nicole was beautiful looking, beautiful when she went out, and she would get attention, and these two girls did not like this at all. They hated Nicole getting any attention. I used to beg Nicole. She'd only go out once a week, and I used to beg her and say, Nicole, just stay in, please don't go out. And she used to always say, Ma'am, why do I have to stay in? Why should I have to stay in? I'm not going to let these get the better of me. So Nicole would go upstairs, and she would put on her makeup and do herself up, and then she'd go into the bathroom and throw up. This girl was the liveliest, bubbliest girl you could ever meet until this all happened. And then I'm watching her throwing up in the bathroom because she was full of nerves and anxiety at the thought of going out. And all she wanted to do was go out and have a laugh and have a few drinks and dance and sing. But these people wouldn't let her. She used to, after she'd throw up, she'd come down the stairs and she'd stand at the door and she'd say, Ma'am, take a picture of me. This picture on my t-shirt Nicole had taken 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks before she took her own life. She went out with a big smile on her face, saying nobody is going to get me. In 2015, Nicole took an overdose because these people, no matter where she went, she couldn't even go down to the shops. Anywhere she went, these people would be there, and they said they were going to get her. They made a fake page called Saoirse and told her that they were going to beat her up so bad and put her on life support machine. In 2015, Nicole took an overdose, and I thought that was my worst nightmare. When I found her, I got her to the hospital straight away, and they kept her in hospital for 4 days. I brought her to CAMS after that, and in CAMS they told me that it was all part of life. It was just a phase she was going through, that she'd get over it. So when I brought her home, Nicole, from this bubbly, lively girl, she started staying in her bedroom. She cried herself to sleep every night, and she would wake up so unhappy the next morning. She said to me one night, she said, Ma'am, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to live, and the only reason why I can't die is because I don't want to leave you heartbroken. These people that tortured Nicole physically weren't happy with this. These people decided to go online with her. Every day, no matter what time, they would always, they'd make fake pages, or they'd set up a WhatsApp group or Messenger and Snapchat. Snapchat was so lethal because the image used to disappear after 10 seconds. They used to say to her every day, go hang yourself. Go die. Everyone hates you. Nobody wants you here anymore. And from this lively, bubbly girl, when you hear this every day, someone telling you every day, it gets into your head, and it stays into your head, and this beautiful, lively girl just couldn't take it anymore. On the 18th of January, I left the house with my 2 sons at 3:20. I dropped one of my sons to work. And I went around to the school to collect my other son. At 4:20, we walked into the house together, me and my 14-year-old son. And there, for a split second, I seen the step ladder. And I said, what's the step ladder? And 1 second later, Nicole was hanging from the banisters. She had gone out and taken the dog's lead and had hung herself. When I got home, Nicole was still alive and she was still warm. I shouted to Lee, please take her down, and I went over to lift her up and tried to get the weight off her neck. My son took her down and I rang the ambulance and put her on loudspeaker while I was doing life support on her, CPR on her. I begged her not to go. That was going to be okay. and that everything was going to be okay. She was still warm and I was rubbing her hair. It seemed like forever that they were working on her in the kitchen. When she got to the ambulance, Nicole took a massive heart attack and she had died, but they got her back. They got her heartbeat back. When I got to the hospital, Nicole was on life support machine, and we were called in by the doctor, and my son, my 14-year-old son, said, "Is she going to be okay?" And the doctor turned around and says, "No, she's going to die." Still then, it doesn't, you don't take that in, that she's never coming home. He said that her organs were going to start shutting down and she'd pass away on her own. I'm going to say it's lucky, and that's not even the right word, but we were lucky enough to have 2 days with her while she was still breathing, while she was still on life support machine, where my family and friends came up and they weren't coming up to see her, they were coming up to say goodbye. I stayed awake for 2 days and nights with her, begging her, just even open your eyes, just say something. Nicole loved McDonald's when she was younger, and she used to eat it all the time. I used to keep giving out to her, stop eating that, and she used to call me Jackers. And she texts me from upstairs, she go, "Yup, Jackers, are we going to Macca's?" And I'd be giving out to her. So while Nicole was lying on the hospital bed, I just sat there waiting for her to say, "Yup, Jackers, are we going to Macca's?" And I put my phone on her leg and just said, "Even just tap it off, just show me something." But she was gone. The doctor said that she had extensive brain damage. Nicole, just minutes before Nicole died, I said to her, "Nicole, just let go." I said, "Just let go, because no one will ever hurt you again. No one can ever touch you." And I said, "I love you, CoCo Pops." Then she died. A couple of days after she died, the guards came around to me and said that it's not a criminal offence for anyone to annihilate or torture. When I say Nicole was bullied, that sounds like a real playground word, something that kids do at the playground. She was tortured when she couldn't live another day. And what gives anyone the right to tear strips, to tear someone's confidence down like that, to tear strips off them, to make them feel that they can't live past another day? I want to ask you today, how many more ropes do we have to cut down off our loved ones' throats due to cyberbullying? How many more people do we have to pull out of a river or a lake due to cyberbullying? How many more stomachs have to be pumped out from an overdose because people can't take it anymore due to cyberbullying? And how many more people have to take that final step off of a bridge and plunge to their death just because these people think it's okay to annihilate and torture them? Nicole is not a statistic. She'll never be a statistic. Nicole is my daughter, my only daughter, my only baby girl. She's never going to be a statistic. And then they say they have statistics for online abuse. What about the people that haven't took their own life? What about the people that are in their bedrooms every night cutting themselves and harming themselves? Before Nicole told me that she wanted to die and she couldn't go because she didn't want to leave me heartbroken, Nicole was in her bedroom most nights getting her nails and digging it into her skin, into her legs and into her stomach and then onto her face. How many more people are doing that every night in their bedroom? This doesn't only happen, bullying doesn't happen in the playground, it starts in the playground. But this happens to teenagers and also happens to people in the workplace who are in the workplace as well and think when they can leave work that everything is grand. So they get bullied in the workplace as well. Years ago we used to be able to go to school and you know, an argument has happened, you could come home and it'll be all forgotten about. But now everything with Snapchat and WhatsApp and all these anonymous groups where you can't even find out who's saying it, this has to stop. How many more people have to go through this and finally take their lives because they feel like they can't live another day the way my baby girl felt? I would do anything to have her back with me. But if I had to take her back, if I was given a choice to take her back the way she left, I would say no, because I'd never let her feel the way she felt the day she went. I could never have her back the way she felt when she went. So this is not only for the people that get bullied, this is for the parents that are left with the devastation, the heartbreak and the gut-wrenching, soul-destroying emptiness that's left in their lives. I'll never see Nicole again. I know she's here with me now, and I know she'll always be beside me, but please just get this law in, and don't let anyone feel the way Nicole felt, and many more that has gone after her. And please don't make anyone feel the way I feel every single day of my life, and it'll never go until the day I see Colin again.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. That's the reality of what's actually happening in Ireland, and it's happening. We've been approached by at least anything up to 100 people with the same type of stories as what Jackie has there. Same things, day in, day out. We're being approached by mothers are texting us all the time, asking us to please help. Because of what their kids are up to, you know. Next up we have Mary Sheehan. She's going to speak about her daughter Kaylee. Thanks, Mary.
Hi, thanks for everyone for coming out today. Every summer, Kaylee would go to Tipperary to stay with her father's family. She went to Clonmel days after to stay with her auntie and family. At 7:50 p.m. on the 16th of June, I was sitting happily in my friend Victoria's house when I received a call from Kaylee's aunt, telling me that I needed to get to Clonmel Hospital as soon as possible. I questioned Kaylee's aunt, asking her over and over again, what's wrong? What's wrong? The feeling of desperation and fear began to grip hold of me as Kaylee's aunt repeated, you need to get her as fast as you can. I handed the phone to Victoria. As the shock developed around my body, I fled from Victoria's across the street to my own home. I quickly gathered a bag on my friend Karen and my parents arrived, and we began the longest journey of my life. I was absolutely distraught and physically sick, crying and pleading with God to awaken me from this nightmare. Pleading with God not to take away my beloved child, my only child, the love of my life. On arrival in Clonmel, I was met by a team of doctors and a team of guardians. I took a deep breath and I knew this was serious. It took every fibre of my being. to walk into that room, a room in which I knew my only child lay lifeless on a bed. As soon as I was there, Kaylee was whisked away for scans and admitted to ICU. The team of doctors spoke to me that Kaylee was critically ill. I asked them, is she going to die? The doctor dropped her head and she said, all I can tell you is your daughter is ill. Kaylee was put on to life support and I spent the night in ICU at Kaylee's bedside. The following morning, I don't know where I am. The following morning I was given hope that Kaylee would be transferred to Temple Street Hospital in Dublin. I had a meeting with an old brain surgeon and called to a conference room in Temple Street. They informed me that Kaylee had deteriorated overnight. I didn't want to listen. I didn't want to hear what they had to say. I just ran. I had to be with her. I couldn't think of anything else. One of the doctors followed me and asked me what I considered donating Kaylee's organs. Take mine, I cried. Just bring my daughter, make her live. Bring her back. I spent the next 4 days with Kaylee, both the longest and shortest days of my life. I spent that time telling Kaylee how much I loved her, how she was my reason for living in the light of my life. I was the first to hold you, Kaylee, when you entered this world, and the last to hold you as your young life embedded away. My baby died in my arms. It's hard to even explain how much this has impacted on me and the rest of my family. The absolute devastation and pain and suffering. I feel a part of me died with you that day, almost like I committed suicide. I'm living a life sentence. The wave of emotions is just horrendous. My daughter was a bright, intelligent, funny and quick-witted. She was bicultural, meaning she was from 2 cultures. I myself am a settled person. Her father is an Irish traveller. Kaylee was so proud of her travelling heritage and her culture. She was proud to be a member of the travelling community with a large extended family, so it's heartbreaking to know it was members of her own community that bullied her to her death. The biggest shock for myself and my family and everyone in my community is that Kaylee was a happy girl. She had no mental health problems. She was active in her youth, loving the community she grew up in. She had a wide circle of friends. She'd something to say, she would say it straight out. Kaylee was a girl that other girls ran to that had a problem. Though an only child, she was the second eldest of both families. She was the go-to big cousin. That's what's the most confusing. The kind of mind games that were played by these bullies to drive her to an act of such desperation. It's the question we will fight to get answers for and justice for. I hope by doing this, anyone that feels bullied should know, please come forward. Tell your mum, tell your dad, your friend, your teacher, just tell. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words break hearts and spirits. If I can stop this happening to another child, then maybe this won't go in vain. I have no words for these horrible people who have no morals in their souls to bully an innocent child. Kaylee was only 14 years old. 14, it's like that sink in, imagine that. It costs nothing to be kind to each other. You should be lifting each other up and staring each other down. The power of your action is central. Mental effects on the victim of such torture, torment, and brings them down to the point of no return. Do not let them silence you. Do not live in fear. Please tell. Let no more families be torn apart from silence and fear. This cannot be allowed to continue. Enough is enough. So I would address the government officials and ask you to bring in #CoCo's Law as soon as possible. Thank you so much.
Guys, there's nothing much I can say there. I think she said it all, to be honest. We're going to put the onus on this government big time, we are, and we're not going to leave you alone. We're going to be a thorn in your side until you pass this, and hopefully we don't have to wait till the end of the year. Hopefully we do this a hell of a lot quicker, because this is what's happening day in, day out. I'm sure you're very aware what happened on the M50 only 3 days ago. That child was only 13 years of age. The same day before yesterday, again, another child down at the canals. I think she was 14 years of age. Like, this is happening on a daily basis, and we really need to work on this. You know, we really do. We need to get this in and save our children. Guys, next up we're going to have Aisling O Neill speaking. She's going to be speaking about her daughter here. Aisling.
Hello everybody, my name is Aisling O Neill, and I'm here today to support the amazing Jackie Fox and Mary Sheehan as we try to get CoCo's law passed. It's a very bittersweet day for all of us, a very emotional day. This is my daughter Mia. She was 16 years old when she took her own life on the 6th of September 2019. Mia began to experience racially motivated bullying at the age of 4. And continued throughout her life, and she was targeted because of the colour of her skin. I'm here to represent my daughter, and I'm here to represent the minorities of this country. Racism is also a terrible form of bullying that needs to be tackled in this country. Mia suffered from mental health issues following this bullying and started to self-harm at age 11. I took her to services that were available, and she was in and out of psychology and psychiatry services up until the day she passed. I had made hundreds of complaints to various authorities, including the Gardaí, about what was happening to her, and I was always told to ignore it. The onus was then put back on my child to try and capture evidence that she was being racially abused on a daily basis. This caused her anxiety problems and mental health issues. She would be told by the Gardaí that she would need to actually catch the people racially abusing her on her phone. So she would have to walk around with her phone on record on a constant basis. And it was just a horrific experience for her. I'm very emotional today. We really need this law to be passed as soon as possible. There are too many children dying. There's too much bullying going on. There's no accountability and no justice. And that's what we're here for. We're here for everybody that is suffering at the moment. We don't want our daughters' lives to have been taken in vain. We want to see justice for our children, and we want to see justice for anybody else who is experiencing such horrific things happening to them in their lives, especially the youths that are suffering today, and the mental health issues that are arising from the bullying. I'd like to thank everybody who has supported Jackie, myself and Mary, the March for Justice, the ministers, everybody that's got on board and supported. We really need this law passed sooner rather than later. Thank you very much.
Guys, next up I'm going to ask the man who actually came up with this law, wrote this law, who's actually going to enforce this law and get it brought in. I'm going to ask for Brendan Howland. Can you please come up to the stand and give us a few words, please, and make some promises you're going to really keep.
That's okay. To be honest with you, I'm humbled to speak after those three speakers. If anybody needed justification for going in there now and saying this is first on our agenda. The harassment bill, we crafted this and I published this 3 years ago. 3 years ago. I don't know how many people have died. When I first met Jackie, I felt the passion that we've all felt today. She didn't want the suffering that she's explained to us now of her family and her daughter to be visited on anybody else. And when you look into it, it is quite amazing that we haven't updated the law in relation to harmful communications, and that's a very bland phrase. It is online torture, and we haven't updated that since texting was invented. This bill that proudly bears my name, but hopefully when it's enacted will actually bear CoCo's name, become CoCo's law, has been supported by everybody in the Dáil at second stage. I met with the new Minister for Justice, Helen McEntee, the week she was appointed, and she's given us a firm commitment that this will be her priority. James Lawless is the newly appointed chair of the Justice Committee of the Oireachtas. This bill has already deemed to have passed second stage, and all the second stage debate is over. It'll go directly into committee, where I will be there to drive it, to make sure that the commitments all of us make to make online bullying, the online torture of people that we've heard in such harrowing detail, a criminal offence. Those perpetrators under this bill, on indictment, can be sent to jail for 7 years. They can't hide under this bill behind the anonymity of unknown names. The bill allows the courts to insist that the platforms that provide social media will be required to give up those names. So there'll be no hiding place for the torturers and the bullies. I've said, and this is my last sentence, I've said that as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I think most decent people in Ireland are concerned, social media is a public space. Our children and all of us should be as safe there as we are in any public space, on our streets, in our public parks, or anywhere else. If people are tortured on our streets, there would be a public outcry and people would be arrested and held to account. We want nothing less for people on public platforms who can, in the middle of the night or in their desperate miserableness, can determine that it's all right to harass somebody to the point of suicide and beyond. So from my perspective, I will give this my absolute 100% support to have it enacted, and hopefully with the agreement of James, the committee, we can actually change the long title of the bill to ensure that not only it becomes an effective weapon against bullies, but it becomes a lasting and permanent memorial to Jackie Fox, her campaign, and her beautiful daughter. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Brendan. Thank you very much. Can we have Owen O'Brien from Sinn Féin, James Lawless from Fianna Fáil, and Brendan Howland from Labour up here, please, just to accept the petition. Again, we'd like to say a big thank you to the people that signed the petition. Just bear with me 1 second there. The online petition, 33,460 people signed that petition. They've been following this journey for the last year and a half. We've been to almost every county in Ireland, and until this law is passed, we aren't actually going to stop. We're going to keep on going through every county. We're going to be heading into the 6 counties very shortly, and hopefully the guys here in front of us, hopefully Brendan Howland, will actually pass this law and get it done, and so this doesn't happen to anybody else or anyone else's kids. And I'd like to say, from the March for Justice to the three mammies, Jackie, Mary and Ashley, it's been an absolute pleasure to work with you guys. It's been heartbreaking, I'll be honest with you. I never thought I'd stand on a stand and cry in front of anyone, but Jesus, it was hard not to with your guys and your stories and everything else. But really, you are an absolute credit to your daughters, and your daughters will be here today looking down on you. And fair play to each and every one of you. Honestly, you are absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much from all of us at March for Justice. Thank you. Guys, can we get the petitions now to be handed over to each of the government ministers, please? Thank you very much. Can we just get you to stand here just for the media, please? Thank you very much. We'll just get you to come in here. Fair play. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Again, as we said, each and every one of us here, we're going to put some serious pressure on these three guys now. That's why we invited them here to accept this petition. So, Owen, James and Brendan, we won't stop here. We're going to keep on putting pressure on all of you guys until this is passed and until this is ended, that another child does not take their life due to or another person doesn't take their life due to any type of bullying whatsoever. So as of from today, our campaign really starts against you guys to make sure you do the job that we're asking you to do, and I've no doubt you actually will do it. I've no doubt of that. Thank you very much. Once again, thank you all for coming here today. Thank you for your support. Thank you all for supporting CoCo's Law. Thank you for supporting these three fabulous mothers, and thank you for supporting March for Justice. Thank you. Goodbye.